Did you ask the crowd at Mwangaza whether the Honorable Idili should apologize?
First, after the residents said that Mwangaza
Please answer my question. You love it. Did you ask the crowd?
Yes, I asked.
Good, you asked. After the first gentleman accused the senator and the MP Tigania East in your presence of sending you certain SMSs as per the video, when you rose to the podium, did you disown the sending of the alleged SMSs?
In meetings that I attend, there are so many speakers, and it is not my duty to go on disowning every speaker's.
Your husband, oh sorry again, Chair. I'm sorry. Chair, let's take it as a slip of the tongue. The first gentleman accused the Honorable Cabinet Secretary and the Honorable MP for Tigania East of sending you certain SMSs making extortionist demands. When you took to the podium, did you correct those assertions? Either you did or you didn't. Which one will you take?
First gentleman is a grown-up man.
That's not my question.
Order, Madam Governor. You must answer questions the way you've been asked. He did not ask for that storytelling which you are starting. He wants yes or no.
I did not disown.
You did not disown. When the first gentleman told the public rally that the Honorable Puri Abori had brought fictitious pending bail for 12 companies, did you, after you took to the podium, correct that misleading information?
No, it wasn't in my agenda.
It wasn't in your agenda?
Yes.
Instead of correcting it, didn't you go to actually affirm his assertions and tell the gathering you don't want a Nusumukate government?
No.
You didn't mention Nusumukate in that video?
The video you are talking about, the Tigania East Member of Parliament, I mentioned nowhere.
I'm talking about the Cabinet Secretary and the Honorable Deputy Speaker. Did you correct the assertions made about them demanding a share in the county public appointments?
No.
You didn't. Don't you think, given the seriousness of these allegations, if you knew, as you must have, that they were lies, as a public leader and leader number one in the county, the first thing you should have done is to dispel the aspersions cast on the two honorable leaders?
But because they were uttered by a different person, I thought it was good for me to talk to him later to understand.
These utterances, for the record, are not uttered by a random person, but by a person you have given some 2 offices in public, isn't it? Correct or incorrect?
Repeat again.
Were these utterances by a random citizen of Meru, or utterances by a person you had appointed as last ambassador and patron of the Meru Youth Service?
By then he was not appointed.
He had not been appointed?
Yes.
Was he the first gentleman at that time?
Yes.
So, don't you think as governor, if the first gentleman makes such serious allegations against other leaders, a responsible governor should take the earliest possible opportunity to clear the air and say that is not correct?
Chair, I think the council should not be asking the governor about somebody who is not here in this court and who is not held accountable in this case.
Before I respond, I have seen the red light from the, is it an objection or something?
Yes, Chairman. Honorable Chairman, we are constrained to interject because the issues that the governor is being put through, they are special in their nature under the law of evidence, under section 130. She's being asked questions about her spouse. And we have followed through and she has answered to the best of her abilities. Now she has been asked to form an opinion about her own spouse in a matter involving criminal implications, whether she's the one who is charged or it may thereafter follow that the spouse may be followed in other different proceedings in another forum. I think under the law of evidence, under section 130 of the Evidence Act, cap 80 of the laws of Kenya, spouses and communications relating to spouses are protected. And also, this will not be a witness who will be compelled to form an opinion, especially of an incriminating nature, against her own spouse. And also to give such evidence, she will also not be allowed without the consent of that spouse. These are a declaratory statute. And two, I did not want to venture into Article 50, Clause 2, Paragraph L, which Honorable Chair had inquired about yesterday, on whether if this client is asked questions that are incriminating to her and she refuses to answer, how will the county assembly team treat her approach to such kind of questions? And we hadn't thought we'll get here. I thought the county assembly team will be a little bit guided, not to require the governor to form an opinion, especially of an untoward nature against her spouse. That is, Honorable Chair, the protection we are requesting this committee to afford the witness and the governor, and to allow her to exercise the right to a fair hearing under Article 50 on those two parameters that I've mentioned. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Council, I think both the Vice Chair and your colleague, they're not asking for too much. We are not sitting here to determine the innocence or otherwise arising from the utterances of the first gentleman. Leave that for another court. The first gentleman is not on trial here. So let us focus.
I'm guided in the interest of time, Chair, and I'm urging you humbly to note the interjections.
Kanzo.
I'm directed, I will be that directive, Chair.
Kanzo.
Yes.
Can you relax? We are aware that we have to save your time. You want us to take a shortcut so that an authority on pronouncement finds that what we did here was a sham? The only way that authority will find that it was not a sham is to follow the proceedings and find that they were done procedurally. So kindly enjoy your space, but separate the first gentleman from the governor.
I'm directing, Chair. I don't think we should be detained. I'm entirely in your hands. Let's go to the municipality, the Honorable Governor. Is the Meru Municipal Board a statutory entity?
Yes.
Does our Okolea program have any mandate on functions of the municipal board?
No.
Therefore, if your answer that the committee to manage the tax operators, those who are Okolea appointments, you must still again have been commingling your private charity with a statutory body. Correct or incorrect?
Incorrect.
Let's go back to vilification, Governor. Without conceding that you vilified anyone, would vilification of other leaders cause a breach or potential breach of the peace? This is not to say you vilified anyone. It's a general question. The Honorable Kawira?
Yes.
Would persistent vilification campaigns against elected leaders create a potential threat of civil strife, assuming it were true that there was vilification?
No.
Would vilification of the church, the mocking of its clergy, the mocking of its liturgies, are those acts, in the event the Senate were to find there is evidence to support them, acts likely to lead to civil strife?
I have not seen one.
Chair, I'm not sure that your communication has been taken. And Council, there was an application which led us where we are right now. And that application is very clear. And I think that the reason why the governor, in this case the accused, took the stand was to be able to help us dig into this evidence in your own application. And if you didn't take the guidance of the chair in the first place, I think it's critical that you understand that you will make it very difficult for us to dig into the documents provided here by the witness and the accused at the same time. You haven't even helped us dig into some of the evidences provided by the governor in volume 1, which is an affidavit sworn by the governor, which has got some very, very interesting stuff that you could help us understand. And so is volume 2. So I wanted just to ask to the chair that remember your application and try to stick to application in the next 30 minutes that you still remain with.
Thank you, the Senator of Migori. Yes, Senator of Nairobi, I see your light.
Yeah, Chair, with the greatest respect to my colleague from Migori, this case is the Assembly's case. I wish that we would allow them to prosecute that case in the manner in which they would like. In the event that they do not touch on any of the documentation they have supplied us, they don't speak to the facts that they have alleged, they don't tell us the truth or point us to where we can see the truth of their assertions, that is their funeral. Chair, in the interest of time, I am not a morning person and I'm not also a night person. In the interest of moving the proceedings forward, let's allow the Assembly to conclude their case.
Very well put. We do not have any luxury or responsibility, Council, to teach you law. You keep on laying your bed.
Let's go to paragraph 3.
Lie in it.
Let's go to paragraph 3 of your affidavit, Honorable Governor.
Which page?
It is at page 15 of your volume of your response. That would be volume 1. Please confirm that it is you, not the Assembly, who has paragraph 3 has introduced the gender issue. Correct or incorrect?
Page 15.
At paragraph 3. Repeated at paragraph 11 and paragraph 15.
The one that reads, my election to the position of the Governor of Meru County in the August 2022 general elections was culmination of a long journey with unprecedented challenges, having campaigned on an independent ticket and being a woman in a field ordinarily dominated by men.
It is you who claims gender issues in that paragraph as read with paragraph 11 and 15. Correct or incorrect?
I have not raised any gender issue here.
Okay, I'll leave it to the Senate to see from the record whether you've raised those issues. But weren't you, Honorable Governor, impeached by all the women MCAs? Never mind these claims about gender. Did they or did they not impeach you, all the women MCAs?
The impeachment, to my understanding, does not either look at the gender of a person.
My question is simple. Did the women MCAs of the Meru County Assembly vote in support of the impeachment motion?
Yes, they did.
Good. All of them, isn't it?
Yes.
Good. You say in paragraph, I'm trying to see the paragraph, Chair, 9 to 10 of your affidavit, that there is a power matrix in which the minority and the majority have joined hands to hound you out of office. Is that the position you've taken in those paragraphs?
Yes.
Are you aware, Honorable Governor, that the Meru County Assembly has 5 independent MCAs?
Yes, I'm aware.
Did those independent MCAs vote in favor of the impeachment motion?
Yes, they did.
Would I be correct to say there are several political parties represented in the Meru County Assembly?
There are several.
Specifically, UDA, BAS, Jubilee, PNU, NOPEO, and DP. Correct or incorrect?
Yes, correct.
Yes, Senator.
I'm tempted to interject on, what the council has mentioned about the governor talking about being elected in an unprecedented situation as a woman. Page 15, you mentioned that. Paragraph 15. But really, Chair, isn't this one a statement of fact? Because in the Meru community, do we have elected women MCAs? Do we have elected women members of parliament, apart from the women representative? She's among the very few governors who've been elected in Kenya. I mean, give credit where it's due. She's not glossing over it. It's a fact.
Very good. Members, I can see lights are starting to come.
Yes,
Are we able to hold on just a little bit? He was about to finish. Let me not rule you out of order, but I say your points will be properly articulated. He's just on the winding curve. Yeah? Let him just. Council, you conclude because your time is up, and then members, you will follow it up. You will then throw your issues.
You say at paragraph 39 of your affidavit and paragraph 38 that there have been various efforts by various entities to resolve this crisis, ranging from the church to Jurincheke to Council of Governors and whatnot. Isn't that correct?
It is correct.
Have these efforts succeeded so far?
Some have succeeded.
But if the efforts by all these players have not resolved the problem in Meru, doesn't it then leave impeachment as the only way out?
Problems are not solved in a day. I think the few months that I've been in office is a short duration. And I think it's good to give our issues time, and I believe all will be resolved well.
You said the previous governor equally appointed his spouse to certain offices, right?
Yes.
Let's go to page 27 of your volume 2. I put it to you, Governor, that this Gazette notice on its face says, refers to a decision by the County Executive Committee of Meru and not a decision by the then Governor of Meru.
Yes.
It is therefore incorrect for you to suggest that the former governor appointed his spouse. If she was appointed, the person who appointed is the one the Gazette notice says made the decision, which is the County Executive Committee.
The pronouncements were made by the governor himself.
Order, Governor. Don't respond. Because on page 27, that Gazette notice is not what the governor is, what the council is saying. He knows the English language.
Can you read for us page 27 where it reads?
Council, you know English. The Honorable His Excellency Kreito is saying in this Gazette notice that pursuant to a decision by the CEC committee on 22nd of March 2018 establishing Meru Toweza program and in exercises of powers conferred by section 32L of the County Government Act, I, Kreito Murungi, Governor of County of Meru, and purpose of that, appoint. It is the governor appointing. It is not the CC. Don't confuse the witness, because you know that English, you know that is, you are out of order.
Chair, I will leave it. I'll leave it to the chair.
Witness, don't respond.
I'll leave it, Chair, because it's a question of interpretation, and we may differ on that. But so that I don't waste my time unnecessarily, Honorable Governor.
Hold on, members, on this issue, anybody who wants to ventilate? We proceed? Yes, it's done.
Please confirm, Honorable Governor, that in your volume 2, most, if not all, the documents you have placed before the Senate are dated before the date of the impeachment motion.
Which document?
You know, I'm trying to go in summary so that, would you confirm to me, Honorable Governor, if you want us to go them one by one, very quickly. All the transcripts attached to your volume 2 of various videos refer to videos that were in existence as at the date of the impeachment motion before the Senate.
Some were earlier.
Yes, we know, of course, a few are not available, but would I not be correct to say most of them were available as at the date of the impeachment motion?
No.
These videos you have transcribed, were they in existence as at 5th December 2022?
Some of them.
Some of them.
Yes.
The document at page 27, was it in existence as of that date?
Let me check.
It's a 2018 document.
27.
Page 27 of your volume 2.
It is the same Meru Toeza Program
Yes.
Board. Yeah.
The question was it in existence as at 5th December when the notice of the impeachment motion was given?
It was.
Same to the document at page 42? Please confirm. It was in existence. It predates 5th December, true or untrue?
Yes, this one is dated 31st October.
Great. Same for the document at page 51. True or untrue?
This is 23rd November.
It is before the date of the impeachment motion before this Honorable Senate, correct or incorrect?
Before.
Let's go to the lease. Are you aware, Governor, that ownership is only one of the many interests in land?
Yes.
So you're aware possession, besides ownership, is an interest recognized in law?
Yes.
You're aware a leasehold is an interest recognized in law?
Yes.
This document at page 113 of your volume 2 at paragraph B, does it show the Catholic Church as an interest in this property known to the law?
113 paragraph.
B. The document is a lease, isn't it?
It is a lease agreement.
Is a leasehold an interest recognized by law?
Yes, it is recognized by law.
This document, therefore, would not justify the accusations you made against the church, because by the document, the church has an interest in this property recognized by law.
This document also affirms that the registered owner is Egoji Boys Secondary School.
Fair enough, but don't we agree ownership is just one of the interests recognized by law when it comes to matters of land?
Yes.
A leasehold is equally a legally lawful interest, isn't it?
For a certain time.
Is this lease valid as we speak today? Has it expired? Is it a valid or an expired lease?
Let me check.
I put it to you, it's a valid lease. And it was
For
valid
5 years.
as at the date of the allegations and the public rally you organized against the church.
It's for 5 years.
Good. So if by this document, the church has an interest in this property recognized by law, there can be no justification for the utterances, whether we accept their vilification or not, for the utterances you made in a public rally against the church.
I made no utterances. My work was only to know if the piece of land belongs to the Diocese of Meru or the county government of Meru, which, including the people that represented the church, we all saw that the piece of land belonged to county government of Meru.
Chair, I'm told I have 10 minutes. Please allow me to give it to my colleague, Mr. Boniface Mawira, because there are matters we agreed he would cover. Please indulge him because some of my time has been spent in the interjections.
Yes, Councillor Boniface.
Honorable Chair and the Honorable Senators, my name is Morero Boniface Mavera. Honorable Governor, I have a few questions for you. Do you know Caste Micheni?
Yes, I know.
Is she one of the nominated? Is she one of the CECs that you nominated but was rejected by the County Assembly?
Yes, she is.
Honorable Chair, I will request the Secretary to play Annex 20 in our flash disk, and to enable the Honorable Chair and the committee follow through. The transcript is on pages 138 to 139 of our volume 1, which is the impeachment motion.
Kwa hivyo serikali ya mama iko imara. Leo tuambeletea wira. Tureja kuja next week, tutongere tuni caste, turogote siana pego jibara batina ambasare bakina ngagero ambasare. Gilie komi. Caste uongoze hiyo exercise. Tuankia tuantigua. Tuana tena inya ampigia kuandika listi. Ana beto bagombe. Na kuna uoga. Na serikali ya mama iko imara. Leo bali wakawira. No ntone baraka lele kando. Uiro teliteka atea.
Honorable Governor, in that video, is it not true that you direct one Caste Micheni to come up with a list of beneficiaries for bursary allocations?
No.
Then, I think at this point, Honorable Chair, I will leave it to your interpreters. You informed us very well that you have interpreters of the Meru language. But Honorable Governor, are you aware of a law regulating the issuance of bursaries?
Yes.
What is that act?
It's in the County Government Act.
Honorable Governor, I put it to you that the law is not the County Government Act, but the Meru County Retention Enhancement Fund Act of 2016.
Yes.
And maybe I'll request your council to show you our volume 2, page 67. Our volume 2, which is our list and bundle of authorities, page 67. And maybe you can read it aloud. Section 10 on the top. Yes? Page 67 of our volume 2. Are you there?
Page 67.
Yes.
Yes.
Please read aloud section 10 on page 67.
The Meru County Retention Enhancement Fund, Act 2016. There is established a Ward Retention Enhancement Fund Committee for each ward, which shall have powers necessary to perform its functions. 2. The committee shall consist of the following: a member of County Assembly for that ward, who shall be the patron. B. Ward administrator for that ward, who shall be the secretary. C. Representative from the Sub-County Education Board. D. A person from the Kenya Primary Schools Ed Association. E. A person from Kenya Secondary Schools Ends Association. F. A representative from the Tertiary Learning Institution. G. 3 representatives from the main sponsors, Sub-County Education Officer, a representative of persons living with disabilities, 3 persons to represent the community, that is from the youth, women, and marginalized group or persons.
Honorable Governor, you confirm that those are the people who comprise that committee?
Yes.
You can turn to page, Honorable Chair, on the same page 67, you will see the functions of that committee on section 11. Because you are pressed for time, I want the Governor to read function number D on page 68, 11D.
D.
Yes.
Identify beneficiaries of the Retention Enhancement Fund.
So, Honorable Governor, you confirm that one of the functions of this committee is to identify beneficiaries of the Retention Enhancement Fund?
Yes.
And these are the bursary allocations?
Yes.
So, Honorable Governor, you confirm that you appointed Kaste Micheni in place of a committee, a ward committee that is established by that county law. You confirm that?
There is no committee in place, and I was referring to J, that is 10J.
Is there anywhere in your response where you've said that there is no committee? Maybe to guide you, I'll refer you to page 42 of volume 1, which is your response. Specifically paragraph, I think 41 of your affidavit. The second paragraph from the top.
41 or 42?
Page 42. But I think it is in paragraph 41 of your response. Because the next paragraph, there is paragraph 42.
Yes.
Please read it aloud.
The center stage in approvals of CEC nominees.
No, the second paragraph, the appointment.
The appointment to a bursary committee of one of the members was rejected as CEC nominee is a law done with the exercise of powers of the governor and cannot be cited as an act of misconduct.
So, Honorable Governor, having read out to you this law, which you are not aware of, would you still hold that it is within the exercise of your powers to appoint members of this committee, when the members are specifically provided in section 10 of the Act?
The members are provided in section 10, and that's why I say Kaste Mission falls under 10J.
So you suppose that Kaste Micheni falls under 3 persons to represent the community?
Yes.
But in the video, you specifically direct her to come up with a list of the beneficiaries. You confirm that?
As one of the members.
Was Kaste Micheni one of the MCA candidates in that area?
Yes, she was.
Which ward?
Bogeta. I don't remember.
I put it to you that it is
Egoji
West. And she was runners-up in that election?
She was in the elections.
She came as number 2?
Yes.
And you appointed her in this committee, and in Annex 20, which is the transcript, or in that video, I think Honorable Chair, it is 19, Annex 19, and the transcript is...
Council, as you proceed, please notice you have only 2 minutes.
Honorable Chair, would you be gracious enough to add me an extra 10 minutes? I have some more ground to cover.
I have added you 3 more, so that you have a total of 5.
Thank you, Chair. I think I'm done with that issue, Honorable Chair. The next issue I would want to address is with respect to Annex 12, and I would ask the Secretary to play out that annex, the video Annex 12, and the transcript is to be found on pages 91 to 96 of our Volume 1. I think you can pause at that, Honorable Chair. The point has been made. So the question to you, Honorable Governor, is it not true that you've appointed a development committee for that ward in place of the area MCA?
No, it is not true.
Honorable Chair, once again, I leave that to your judgment. The final question for me, the second last question for me, Honorable Governor.
Chair, Senator Kiambu here. Just for clarity and for me to understand from the young lawyer, you're saying that what did you call it? The development committee.
Yes.
Is supposed to be constituted by an MCA. I just want to understand. You said in place of an MCA. I don't know. I just want to understand.
Honorable Chair and the Honorable Senator for Kiambu, I think the point is that the Governor appointed a committee. First, she accuses the area MCO, who is the mover of the motion, of stoning her. And then she goes on to appoint a committee because she says she cannot work with this MCA. She accuses the MCA of stoning her and goes to appoint a committee in place of the MCA. In fact, it is to bypass the role of the MCA. And in fact, that guy called Tirum in that video.
Honorable Chair, is Council now testifying?
I'm responding to her question.
In fact, Council for the Governor, in his testimony, the Council, in his own testimony, has just confirmed that the MCA actually stoned the Governor and gave reason. That the reason why he stoned her is because she had appointed a committee where she had left him out. That's wonderful information.
Honorable Chair, I did not, perhaps I want to correct that notion. In the transcript that is on page 91 of our Volume 1, you will find a direct translation of what the Governor is saying in that video. And the Governor is expressly accusing the area MCA of stoning her. But we leave that to your translator, Honorable Chair. But the point is, in response to Senator Karongo, the Governor has appointed a development committee in place. And in fact, the guy, because I'm responding to your question now, the guy who's called Tirum, he was the runners-up in the election. So he was the number 2 to the move of the motion. He's been appointed into this committee. In fact, he's the first person that the Governor appoints. So I hope that sufficiently clarifies. So the last question for me from the Governor is...
Council, just for purposes of record.
Yes, Chair.
Where in law is it stated that a runner-up cannot serve on a committee in a ward.
That speaks, Honorable Chair, to our allegation in the impeachment motion that the governor is appointing other persons. She's first sidelining the people who have the elected leaders who have the mandate of the people. She's appointing other people to carry out the same development roles that these people are elected to do. And these people are elected in order to, are appointed by the government in order to stir up wrangles with the duly elected representatives of the people. That is the point, Honorable Chair.
You see, you are now opening a bit. She's running her own government. She looked for votes. She was elected. Just like in Embu, issues of agriculture are addressed by the Honorable Linturi, who lost to this lady. This lady can now not start coming to State House with stones to stone President Ruto because the man she beat is carrying out duties of agriculture in Meru.
Chair, with your kind permission, because I want him to conclude, I want to help the young lawyer there. This Senate committee has been struggling to understand the genesis of the problem between the governor and her MCS. Chair, you are a politician, I'm also a politician. One of the problems, and it is in the document, is that she's strengthening the hand of the opponents of the MCAs. You understand? So that is part of the genesis of the bad blood. That is what the point the young lawyer is doing, and I think at this rate, I will have to split their fees with me. They will have to split their fees with me. I'm doing their job.
Thank you for coming to my aid, Honorable Senator for Nairobi. I think that is what seniors do to their juniors. I think that the last question for me to the Governor, Honorable Chair, is, Honorable Governor, who is the founder of Baita TV?
It's a limited company.
Who is the founder? That is the question.
It's a limited company.
I put it to you that a video, we played a video in this, before this Honorable Committee, Annex 2, where you expressly say, while appointing the first gentleman to the office of the patron, Meru Youth Service, and Asla's ambassador, that he is the founder of Baita TV. True or false?
True.
So you confirm that is indeed the founder of Baita TV?
In one of the ways, yes.
I refer you to page 131 of volume 1. Please turn to that page. In fact, from page 130 and page 131. Are you there?
Yes.
Is that the CR12 for Mwangaza Advertiser Limited?
Yes.
And the persons listed as the directors or shareholders are Esther Mwendo and Miriam. And Miriam Karwero Gwantai?
Yes.
Are these persons known to you?
Yes, they are known to me.
Who are they to you?
Relatives.
How are they your relatives?
Close relatives.
Are they your immediate family members? Sister, mother?
Yes, counsel for the governor.
I think, Chairman, I'm also constrained to extend the earlier objection I had on dragging family members into this motion, which is not there. She's admitted there are persons known to her, their relatives. She wants to know the degree of consanguinity. We do not know where it is leading to, and there have not people who were mentioned in this motion at all in the charges. We seek protection, and we also redeem the time of this honorable committee. Honorable Chair.
Counsel, the objection is upheld.
Okay, I think the witness can only turn to page 131 and confirm whether the business name Baita TV is registered, or the proprietor of that business name is Mwangaza Advertiser Limited. True or false?
Council?
Yes.
Look on the clock. I gave you an extra 5 minutes. Now it has moved into an extra 10 minutes. Would you like to stop?
I'm most obliged, Chair. I want to stop there.
Okay, so stop after you've gotten your right answer. Just conclude your question, extract your answer. Conclude. Okay,
on page 131 of volume 1, you confirm that the business name Baita Television is, the proprietor of that business name is Mwangaza Limited. Thank you very much, Chair. I only have a very simple request. It's still on time, Honorable Chair.
What you have left out, you'll bring it to our attention through your concluding remarks when you make your submissions. That is also an entry point.
It's only that my colleague would want to play a video, just one video, Honorable Chair.
One something.
Just one video, with your kind indulgence and the indulgence of the committee.
Okay, play your video. We don't want to gag you.
Yes. Honorable Chair of this select committee, Honorable Senators, just as yesterday, my name is Eric Murioki, and to save on time, I will ask the Secretariat to go to Annex 16 of our videos. The transcription is on page 115 of our volume 1, that is the impeachment motion, marked 16A. Sorry, is that Annex 16?
And the speech is still with the County Assembly of Meru. And the speech is still with the County Assembly of Meru. Unfortunately, hawakungoja, they barred me from entering the assembly, which I did by force or by God's grace.
That's enough.
And then immediately.
So, Governor, is that you on that video?
Yes.
So you're the person there uttering those words?
Yes.
That you entered the assembly by force?
By God's grace.
Chair. Chair, yeah, Mandago, yes. Chair, I don't know, the council doesn't want to play the whole video. He has chosen us to play the section that the governor says, I ended up by force. Can we also listen to the second part? Because we cannot say time and disadvantage the witness, Chair.
Okay, Senators, we have to finish this matter. I think we shall grant Senator Mandako.
No,
just play 2 minutes of that.
Yes,
that clip.
I think it's only fair. He has been extended time to play that video. Can we watch the video as it is?
Play.
Not a section of the video.
And the speech is still with the County Assembly of Meru. Unfortunately, hawakungoja, they barred me from entering the assembly, which I did by force or by God's grace. And then immediately after kuanza kuongea, wakatoka nje. Na walipotoka nje, wakaimba mapambano.
Thank you, Chair. I think my point has been made, so I will ask my
Council order. Question. That was the request by Senator Mandako. You will come, Senator Mandako.
I'm satisfied now. It is now clear, either by force or by God's grace. So whichever is applicable.
Okay, Council.
So my second last question, Governor, I will refer you to page 49 of our volume 2. That is the county, the Public Appointments, County Assemblies Approval Act. Look at section 10 of that act. Governor, kindly read for us section 10. What does it say?
Rejection of nomination. 1. Where the nomination of a candidate is rejected by a county assembly, the appointing authority shall submit to the county assembly the name of another candidate, and the procedure for approval specified in this act shall apply accordingly.
Is there any provision?
Chair, point of order. Chair, the councils of the county assembly are becoming mischievous with time. They had asked to just play one video. Mr. Chair, I want to find out whether you have extended the time so that we can sit pretty and know we have another 30 minutes to listen to the county assembly.
Senator Mandako, what Gabriel and the other lawyer are doing, they are bullying me. They know that I love young people, so they are bullying me. This is probably their first time to address the nation. They are addressing the nation, so I'm really constrained. Anyway, can you restrict yourself to your request? You wanted to be allowed to play, but because you had started, just conclude that statement and it ends there. Please.
Yes. Chair, I had begged for the video on just one question, which is what I'm asking now. Yes. I am concluding in the next 1 minute. So my question to you, Governor, regarding that provision you have read, which is my last question, is there any part in that law which permits the governor to go vilifying MCAs just because they have rejected the nominees of the governor? Is there any part of that law you have read which permits the governor to go vilifying MCAs for the reason that they have rejected the governor's nominees to the positions of CEC?
There is no law, and I have not vilified the MCAs for that.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Chair. Thank you for indulging me. Thank you.
Very well. Back to the counsel for the governor. I've given you 5 minutes. 5.
Thank you, Chair. I will strive to conclude my re-exam in the 5 minutes. Honorable Governor, first of all, in all the questions that have been fired at you during cross-examination and during the course of these proceedings, has the County Assembly of Meru produced any form of evidence that challenges the documents you have produced before this select committee?
Not a single evidence.
Have you at any moment ever admitted that you have made any illegal appointments? In your response, have you admitted of that wrongdoing?
I have not admitted any illegal appointment made by myself.
The role of the patron of Meru Youth Service, does it in any way collide with the role or the mandate of the board of that service?
No.
Does not. You have talked about your Okolea initiative, which you have been involved in for the last 10 years or so. When you became governor, did you abandon that initiative?
No, I did not.
Do you still get requests by the needy to support them through that initiative, even after you became governor?
The requests have increased.
They have
now as the governor.
They have indeed increased. Does your conscience rather allow you to turn down such requests merely because you become a governor?
No, to my understanding, I should even be more conscious to them than before.
Thank you. You have also been asked why you did not involve the county secretary to come and testify on your behalf or on any of those appointments that you've been accused of. Is it within your mandate to direct the county assembly to come and testify before the Senate on a personal matter touching on an accusation on a personal matter?
No.
Are you responsible for the utterances of your spouse?
Not at all.
You have also been told that you want to be excused merely because you are a woman? Have you sought to be excused for any wrongdoings because you are a woman?
No.
Kindly read page 18 of your volume 1. What have you said in your pleadings in respect to the gender issue?
That the challenges facing women in political participation have been recognized as a real problem in Kenyan government structure, leading to the introduction of the 2/3 gender rule that is yet to be implemented several years after inclusion in the Constitution. There's no law requiring gender parity in gubernatorial positions, which have been a practice reserved for men and women and left to compete like any other male candidate, and therefore those who go through this should not be brought down where there is no wrongdoing.
So have you in any way sought to be excused because you're a woman in your pleadings?
No.
You have not. Let us talk about the approach taken by the MCAs. Have any of the MCAs or any committee of the County Assembly of Meru ever summoned you in the oversight role to address any of the issues that now appear in this motion for impeachment?
Chair, there was no such question in cross-examination. By law, that question is not permissible in re-examination because it's new territory and will not have the opportunity to address it.
I abandoned that question, Chair.
Then the objection by Dr. Mdhomi is upheld.
Thank you. Let us talk about the disbursement of bursaries through Kasti Misheni. Has Kasti Misheni dispersed any bursary funds?
No.
Has she collected a list of any needy students and presented them for allocation of any bursary funds?
No.
Finally, Governor, you have been accused of not working with any of the leaders of Meru. What would you like to say in this forum, specifically to the members who have been elected to represent the great people of Meru? If you're given that opportunity and forum, what would you say to all these elected leaders that you are accused of vilifying, whether or not they are participating in these proceedings or not? What would you want to tell them?
I've been working with all members elected in Meru County, and for any case that maybe there is little misunderstanding between myself and any other leader, I've gone ahead to try and seek remedy to the situation so that I can work with everybody.
That is all?
It is not all, because from my own understanding, I've gone around over 26 once in Meru County, and in every ward I've been accompanied by the area MCA. And in any other meeting that involves leaders in Meru County, my presence has been there.
Thank you. And for anyone who feels offended by your style of leadership, what would you like to say in respect to that issue?
Anyone who feels offended by my leadership, last 1 month and 1 week, I went ahead and apologized 70 times. And even now, I'm ready to apologize for anyone who feels offended.
Thank you, Honorable Governor. That will be all, Honorable Chair.
Thank you very much. Counsel for the Governor, can you serve her with some water? Because she's still there. I now open the process to the distinguished gentlemen and ladies from the committee. Senator Roba.
Has the governor taken the water? Yeah, let her take the water. Thank you very much, Chairman. Honorable Governor, for some of the questions, just yes or no, that requires a bit of explanation, you will do. And for the benefit of, because the accusation that has been brought before us as an impeachment touches on you, and a lot has been brought out that is relating to attitude and roadside decisions and not getting along with the other leaders. My question very quickly is, after you were elected into office, having served in different capacity before, did you attend the induction courses arranged by Council of Governors to clarify roles, responsibilities, jurisdictions, and limitations?
Yes.
You have presented an evidence here, volume 2, from page 30 to the end, and the council can help you pull it out, your own evidence, volume 2. And there are a lot of photos of county first ladies and that. However, in the presentation by either your legal counsel or the key witness, it hasn't been clear what your intentions of presenting this additional evidence are. I would like to understand, by including this evidence, what did you want to achieve?
By including this evidence, I wanted to show that the role of first ladies were recognized then by the county assembly, the first governor and the second governor.
Okay, this is just to let you know, as a governor who have served for 10 years, other than some ceremonial representation, there is no budget or responsibility for county first ladies in county government. Yes. These images and photos that we've shown or previously publicized is just of them participating in departmental programs that has already taken shape. And as such, the illegality in terms of the spouses of the governors being able to play critical roles that are formal, it's not anywhere. It's just a goodwill of that. Now, on the norm of governors giving their, annual speeches or other speeches at the county, is that it's a very formal role. When we watched the video, you really looked combative, to be very honest. Even in your walking style, the way you've come, it was like you're spoiled for a fight. And I'm just, and the public have watched the video as it is. And again, unfortunately or fortunately, I've served for 10 years. And we've done these speeches. It's very formal, extremely quiet. The processes are captured. And you had quite a crowd following you up. It looked like you were prepared for some fight, some event, some show of force or something, yet it is some just procedural program that required you and your car, your security to drive into the premises and do what you are required to do. I really want to understand. I just saw the video of you walking very abrasively, actually, combatively, if I looked at it, because by the time you're walking, you're also throwing some words I could not understand, but I could see. I want to get to understand, were you pre-advised that there is a problem at the assembly?
Before the date or the day that I was to address the assembly, the clips have been played here where the MC is, and they warned me that I should not attend and give my speech to the assembly because of the word fad. And when I arrived at the assembly, gate 1 was completely closed, and then I turned back to use the other gate. It was also closed. By then, people had started to gather at the gate.
Okay. The chief of staff in your county government, and the reason why I ask about whether or not proper induction was done, from the practice and for the formative years of the first 5 years of devolution, there was nothing to rely on. Second 5 years, there is institutional memory everywhere. This is personal staff of the governor. But then the evidence is presented of letters he has written to County Public Service Board and various other entities, including chief officers, the payroll manager, and everybody else, indicates that that is a clear role of the county secretary. And your chief of staff seems to be the most empowered or empowered staff in the county. And by the way, according to the guidelines given by Transition Authority earlier, simply you appoint that person yourself. It did not even require for you to take them through the board. I want to find out in all these documents that we have the head of public service, the county secretary. Why is it that the county secretary's documents or communication between the county secretary and the board is not apparent, but rather your chief of staff is the key player playing a legal role that ought to have been undertaken as legal responsibility by the county secretary?
Maybe one of the reasons as to why he appears to be a bit close or representing me, it is because most or more of the accusations that are against me, in all those meetings, he has been with me. And I thought he's the best person to understand the cases as per the impeachment motion or the accusations.
No problem. You could have given the same directive to your county secretary for him to
Senator,
directly respond.
Order, Senator. I want to appeal to colleagues. You bite twice, at the very most 3 times, and you give others a chance. So, Senator, maybe that will be your last bite. Proceed, Senator.
I want just to clarify, I haven't gone to the last, but I can cut it short, it's okay, I give the chance, but you could have directed your county secretary to write to various entities and get you the communication, because that's the formal position. And the county secretary would have done exactly what the chief of staff has done, right?
I stand guided.
Senator Sifuna.
Yes, Chairman, first, you know, my party leader likes to say, usione simba amenyeshewa ukadhani ni paka. It is very difficult for me to relate the person who has appeared before the Senate today and the person that I have seen in the videos there. And certainly very difficult to relate you, Governor, to the picture that was painted by Counsel for the County Assembly during his opening statement. I was convinced that you are ready to invade Isiolo and to invade Tharaka Nithi and the neighboring counties. But so, Governor, you know, the beauty with us is that we are politicians. There are certain political nuances that we will get that probably will escape the legal minds. And we want you to deal with us as your political colleagues. You have been a member of parliament. This chair has been a member of parliament for a long time. There is things we know between us, and you know what I'm talking about. But let me begin. The case has been laid out here that there were 2 impeachment motions. There was a first motion to which a court order was issued and it was stopped. In your testimony there, you have averred again that there was a court order that prevented you from attending the second impeachment. Governor, was there a court order for the second impeachment process?
From the advice by my legal person is that because the first order was given and the case hearing was to be January, you advised me that it will be contempt of court.
This was a second impeachment. You are saying your legal counsel advised you still not to appear for the second impeachment?
Yes.
It is also possible, Governor, that since you had seen, you yourself have testified that you knew that these people had already taken a position. It is okay to say that you decided not to go to those proceedings because you knew these MCAs had made up their minds. What we don't want to get a sense of, because we, as I said, we politicians pick up certain nuances. We know our own cleverness. So if we get the sense that you're being clever with us, it upsets us. So the second question, Governor, these appointments, you are aware that firefighting is a county government function.
Yes.
Firefighting is a county government function. So when you are asked and then you say that these people were going to be the ones making calls, in this area of Timau, what would you say would be the percentage number of people who have phones? Why would you need these 2 people to be the ones to call in case there are fires? What would you say? How many people in Timau don't have phones?
That was a request, Honorable Senator, from the residents of Timau.
That they wanted 2 people who could call the county government when there is a fire.
The number of people was entirely to me to decide because I was the one to pay them.
But these people were to make phone calls in the event there is a fire to the county government?
Not only phone calls, but also give assistance to the areas that have been with such issues.
Okay. Some more political cleverness. This question of the harassment of Honorable Mitili at this event where you are saying it was demanded by the crowd. Governor, in all honesty, had you spoken to that crowd about any of the previous events, the events of a preceding day that involved this honorable MCA, that could have incited or driven this crowd to make this demand?
It was my normal speech before he arrived, because I arrived before him.
Good. Did it touch on any of the matters that had happened prior between you and the assembly?
Of course, yes. I am to tell them that I was denied access, of which they knew, and they asked me, what is the way forward?
So you have seen us at rallies, here, all of us, saying, "Ni nyinyi mumesema sio mimi."
Yes.
You know we know what we are doing. Okay. Lastly, Chair, there is this question of the accusation that you are working with the opponents of these MCAs. And in fact, one of them has testified here, Chair. I think it was the county secretary, is it the chief of staff? And we have seen another one in the video. Do you not see that this could be a genesis for the bad blood between you and the MCAs? Doesn't matter if you call me. Doesn't matter if you call me, but if you also call Bishop Margaret Wanjiru, and you are the person who has become president, and you are giving her all this prominence, and don't you see as a politician that that could be the basis of sowing discord between me and you?
Honorable Senator, the 2 people that have been accused of working with have been my long-time friends. And because they have been my friends, and they lost the election, am I supposed to abandon them in my meetings?
So are you saying there are only those 2?
They have brought 2 of them.
No,
I'm not aware.
The ones you're working with, Governor, are they only those 2?
So many of them.
Of the ones who came number 2?
No. Those who came number 2, only 1.
Okay. Finally, I want you to tell me, as a person who, I'm the Senator of Nairobi, I'm not intimately or intricately involved in the issues of Meru. What is the one solution, because we have tried many. If applied by this Senate in the county of Meru, everything would work. Is it this ward fund? Is it your impeachment? Is it the dissolution of the assembly? In your view, as a leader elected in Meru, what is this one solution if applied by the Senate today? Meru would be up and running again.
Thank you, Honorable Senator. The one solution that I think can solve all the problems is making the word fund legal or have a framework to work with.
I thank you, Chair.
Chair, thank you. Thank you, Chair. Yes, thank you, Chair. Chair, because the Honorable Governor is a bishop, I want to take a biblical perspective. And I want to ask Governor Kawera Mwangaza, what does the Bible say about a loose tongue?
A loose tongue can cause many problems.
A loose tongue can actually burn down a nation.
Yes.
Honorable Governor, God gave you the victory, and I congratulate you. You are my colleague in the National Assembly. But did God give you the victory in order to go and trample upon everybody, to go vilify everybody, to go abuse other leaders? Were you given that victory, my sister, in order to finish yourself? Because I see a process of self-destruction.
Honorable Senator, God gave me the victory. And the word of God says that God will never share his glory with any man. I've tried my best to bring MCAs on board, but the only problem is word fund. The rest that has been labeled against me is a narrative to cover what the demands are. From the time we started hearing the witnesses from the county assembly, they denied completely about them asking word fund. Until when the video clips were played, we came to understand that the problem was word fund. I've never and I will never fight anyone as a leader.
Okay, I may not understand Kimeru, and yes, Chair, this committee will be faced with a challenge of a very delicate balance of an assembly that will walk out on a governor, an assembly that shows defiance, but also we have seen clips of a governor who is, and it's not me, it's what we have seen in the clips, who is outrageously aggressive on other leaders, seems to be on our path. I mean, the body language can also be interpreted, even if I don't understand the language of Kimeru. But let me go on. No, the Bible also says that pride comes before a fall. I hope this victory will not be the cause for your fall. My sister, I also wanted, and let me just refer you as my sister because you know I am. Because you know this case puts some of us in a very precarious situation. And I have said it on the floor of this house. Because I contested for governorship in Kajiado. And I was hoping your success in Meru will propel me to governorship in Kajiado. But today, 3 months after the election, there is an outcry in Meru. Will this will really your behavior in Meru help to propel more women into positions, or will it bring us down? These are my worries, my dear sister. You know about the women movement. You know about the women who went before us. Akina Phoebe Asio, Akina Grace Ogot, Jane Kiano, Julia Ojambo, Zipporah Kitony, Charity Ngilu, Martha Karua, and more recently, Governor Waiguru, Governor Cecily Mbarire, Governor Gladys Wanga, Governor Achani, Governor Susan Kihika. You know about the League of Kenya Women Voters? You know about Center for Multi-Party Democracy. You know what it has costed the women of this country to create space for leadership. Will you be the downfall of the women of Kenya? Will you bring because you must see your actions, not just to affect the people of Meru, but to affect the women movement, to affect the girl child, even those we have given birth to. I am sorry to speak this way, because you must be told the truth, that you must be able to tame your tongue. You must be able, now that you are the victor, to know that it is the victor who needs everyone else. It's not everyone else who needs you. It is you, the victor, who needs other people. My sister, I foresee a situation where you are
Welcome to Monibi's Apartments. I'm Globa Choti Meshak. Monibis is located at Tasia Embakasi off 75 Road, where you're headed to Utawala. We have a 3-bedroom house that can host you for a day, a month, a week, and you will feel comfortable. It's easily accessible, and you're most welcome. You can reach us on 0729 816 420 or 0723 60 1721. You can always reach us on 0729 816 420 or 0723 60 1721. Welcome all.
Not only phone calls, but also give assistance to the areas that have been with such issues.
Okay. Some more political cleverness. This question of the harassment of Honorable Mitili at this event where you are saying it was demanded by the crowd, Governor. There is this question of the accusation that you are working with the opponents of this MC.
Assumes over as the governor of Meru, and he nominates a new deputy governor. Luckily, Chair, and this is why I salute the makers of our constitution, the deputy governor was on the ballot box. So we shouldn't be too worried whether you're moving too far away from the choice of the people. There is a reason I now realize why our constitution requires presidents and governors to have a running mate. And why it says if the solution we're asking you to give Meru is allowed, it is the deputy governor. This should allay your fears, Chair, that there is some hidden hand pushing this process so that it can benefit, because it must be taken that the deputy is a comrade of the governor. Chair, we urge you to ask yourself, by law, because this is not often mentioned, we must mention it, by law, Chair, the county assembly is permitted, should this crisis persist, to introduce the very same motion before you, not anyone, the very same motion after 90 days. But that's not really the point here. What I want you to ask yourself, would it be fair to the people of Meru, if it is common ground, there is a fundamental problem in that county, that they remain held hostage in these circumstances prevailing in that county? It is our submission that it will be very unfair. Are there guarantees, Chair? Because there were many submissions on mercy, on forgiveness, on giving second chances. Are there guarantees you've been given that you can rely and bank? That if you give this governor a new chance, Meru will return to normal? Our submission is none. The governor before you keeps insisting the problem is that someone is sponsoring the MCAs. She keeps telling you, in answer to your questions, that the problem is the ward fund. She keeps telling you the problem is everybody else and everything else except the governor. Whether you believe or not, that's up to the committee. I cannot direct you. But for me, the question is, would it be fair to the Republic of Kenya, to the people of Meru, to our Constitution, to allow this situation to fester? And more importantly, given the things you've seen and heard on both sides, do we even want to take that gamble if we were to assume, for argument's sake, that the aggression against other leaders will persist, that the aggression against MCAs will persist? Chair, your mandate under the law is to consider every one of the 62 allegations separately and independently, not collectively. That's what Section 33 of the County Government Act, subsection 6 and 7 say, that if you find even one of them to be substantiated, it's very interesting, Chair, because ordinarily the law actually talks of proved. Here you're being told substantiated, not even necessarily proved, whatever the semantics lie. But the law, Chair, is that if you find any one of the 62 violations to have been substantiated, then the Senate in plenary is to take a vote on that finding by your committee, and if a majority of the delegations uphold that finding, then the governor stands removed from office. My colleague, Mr. Jacob Ngwele, will address you on the specific question whether we have substantiated or proved, whichever the word, any one, not two, any one of the 62 allegations. When you retire to consider that question, Honorable Chair and Honorable Senators, we invite you to note from the evidence, it is not in contest whether the appointments were done, the illegal ones. It is whether they were meant to occur, whether appointment letters were actually ensued after those declarations and whatnot. It is not in contest, Chair, whether the allegations against other elected leaders were made. It is not in contest whether the utterances against the Catholic Church were made. What is in contest between the parties is not whether any of the things we have alleged, any of the things in our videos took place, but the meaning to be attributed to them or the context in which they were uttered or done. We take comfort, Chair, in your assurance that this being an inquisitorial committee, the Senate has its own independent translators from Kimeru to English and vice versa, from Kimeru to Kiswahili or wherever. And we'll urge you to ask those translators to tell you from the videos whose accuracy is not in contest between the parties, there was vilification of other leaders, whether there were illegal appointments. Chair, we'll urge you to note, because it's easy to be lost in the legalese. I'm a lawyer and I'm often guilty of this. That for virtually every official institution set up by national and county laws, from the evidence before you, the governor has a parallel structure, parallel appointments that supplant the one known to the law. Can MCAs be faulted, whether it is the municipal board, whether it is the hospital, whether, whatever it is, you'll find there is a law. The law has established the official organ to deal with a need of the people or a problem of the people. The picture that has emerged is that for every one of them mentioned in the impeachment motion, the governor came and set up an official parallel system and chose not to work with the one set up in the law, and also chose not to work with the people officially holding the office responsible for that function. And the question, Chair, how long can we, in fairness, expect any county to be run like that? Lastly, because my colleague will address you on the evidence, the county assembly gave the governor notice, 7 good days. She tells you, and it's up to you to give it whatever weight you want, that she was advised. She didn't have to appear before the county assembly, and specifically that if she appeared, she would have been in breach of a court order. She has not shown you the court order that forbade her from appearing before the assembly. But that's not the reason I am raising this issue, Chair. The reason I'm raising it is because there is a fundamental question of principle. The governor has an opportunity to place her defense. Never mind, she says the assembly is already prejudiced. She doesn't. She has now before you documents that were in existence, even if the order forbade her, which is not the record, from appearing before the assembly, it was still open to her to send her lawyer if there was an order forbidding her. Because the options are you appear either in person or by lawyer. So the question, Chair, is can we in good faith fault the assembly for making the decision it made when the opportunity to place all this material? Can the assembly be faulted for not considering the matters you're now being asked to consider in favor of the governor when the widow to avail that material was there? Lastly, Chair, I am not actually worried as a lawyer whether your decision will be legally correct or incorrect. And the reason I'm not worried, all of us, including me, Chair, every day make legal arguments and decisions that are shown to have been incorrect once in a while. At the University of Nairobi, there is a course they teach called Law and Economics. And in that subject, Chair, which I actually teach, we are told the value of a decision, whether by a judge, whether by a tribunal like this one, we are told, secondly, the value of a law, whether it's the Constitution, whatever law, Chair, is not what it says or doesn't say. So the value of your decision is not what you will say or you won't say. Scholars of law and economics tell us the true value of your decision is the scheme of incentives for either good behavior or bad behavior that your decision will establish. I very humbly tell you, Chair, that if you let this governor off the hook, the scheme of incentives you'll be sending to other governors, both now and in the future, is that you can engage in whatever number of violations of the law, whatever the nature of those violations, whatever the potential consequences of those violations, but the Senate of the Republic of Kenya, for one reason or another, can let you get away with it. That is what the priest meant by the difference between justice and forgiveness. He was actually addressing on moral and legal philosophy, and I'm not sure he was understood. The matter before you is about justice. It's about what legal consequences should ensue for certain acts and omissions. Chair, allow Mr. Ngwele, because I note we have only 30 minutes, to address you on why we believe we have substantiated or proved, or whatever the word we want to use, not just one, because we only need one, but actually several allegations. Thank you very much, Chair.
Chair, for the record, my name is Jacob Ngwele, and I'll be submitting on the reminder of our submissions. Before I embark on evaluation of the evidence which you have submitted, Chair, it's our humble and most respectful submission that the Assembly side has substantiated all the 62 grounds of violation which the Assembly passed in this impeachment motion against the Governor, as were read in the charge sheet, which was read before the Governor here. I will proceed and explain how we have substantiated those charges. One of the grounds was the issue of illegal appointments, nepotism, and illegal usurpation of public offices. Of course, the first issue was the appointment of the Governor's husband as in county offices. Chair, from the outset, this issue has been trivialized. It has been generalized, it has been demeaned, but it is a very serious issue. What the Governor and the Chief of Staff did not mention when they were being cross-examined, they only went to the appointment of Hustler's ambassador, but they never mentioned that, or they never came out clearly, that the issue was about, the critical issue was about the Governor in a public setting. In a public setting which was draped with flags, a forum which was meant to launch a person in a public office, did appoint the husband as a patron of a public institution, an institution which has been created by a statute. It is a submission that it is not just a matter of a spouse. It is about a spouse who has been given an illegal appointment and who is exercising illegal powers. You are not appointed a patron of a public institution to be an ambassador of it. You are appointed a patron to exert influence, to exert policy directions on that particular institution. And for that reason, we submit that this issue has been proved, and the issue about the role of the spouses, we need to debunk that particular issue and argue that, as it was raised here, spouses are not appointed in critical public positions. You cannot see a spouse appointed as a patron of Kenya Forest Service, as a patron of Mama Lucy Hospital. These are not the reserve for, for spouses to be appointed. The other issue quickly was the issue of reappointment of Mr. Rufus Miriti as a county secretary. This issue is uncontested. It is uncontested both in the affidavit which is submitted in this house. It is uncontested both in the oral evidence and also the oral evidence of both Mr. Harrison and the Governor herself. It is not contested. It is not in dispute or doubtful that Mr. Miriti has been reappointed as a county secretary. It is not in dispute that Mr. Miriti was the county secretary of the previous regime. It is not contested that Mr. Miriti's term came to an end with the tenure of the previous government. But what Mr. Harrison told the court, the Senate, was that the term was extended, the extension was allowed by the TA, then the term is still ongoing, he still has a contract which expires on 23rd of January next year. We do submit that this is one of a very critical illustration whereby the Governor has disregarded the express provisions of the law. And the law is that an appointment, including reappointment, must be submitted to the County Assembly for fresh vetting. We did submit in our documents 2 decisions of the High Court. One is the one for the High Court of Machakos, and the other one by Justice Murima. In the Machakos judgment, the court said that in case of the term of the CCs whose the tenure of the Governor has come to an end, they must be subjected to a reappointment. Similarly, Justice Murima said that if the term of the CS comes to an end with the end of the tenure of the President, they must be submitted. That particular gentleman is still up to date, exercising illegal powers, and that is one of the grounds we have submitted. The other issue, which I'll go quickly, is the issue of the roadside appointments. It is not in dispute, both from the governor's evidence and from Mr. Harrison's evidence, that these appointments were made, both in Timau, Nikubu, and Kianjai. What has happened is that the evidence has shifted. Initially, it was that no pronouncements were made. Then, no letters were given. Now, it has become the appointments were actually made for an organization called Okolea. In the governor's evidence, in our governor's affidavit, that is not mentioned. We do submit that this is a creation. It's what in law we call an afterthought, a smoke screen, whereby you want to shift the evidence from this direction. You are saying, I was not stealing, actually I was speaking. That is what they are trying to submit. We do submit that the evidence we have given in our annexures, all the annexures, and we ask, as my colleague has requested the Senate, let the committee review the transcripts for all those 3 instances, and you will see the governor directing the ward administrators to appoint those people. How do you direct public officers to appoint people to private organization? We do submit that this allegation has been proved and is tantamount to illegal usurpation of functions given to a public institution. The only person who can create public offices, the only person who can hire is the County Public Service Board. Honorable Senators, the other issue, of course, similar to that one, was the issue of illegal committees which were created for municipalities. It is not in dispute that in Meru, they have municipal boards. It's not in dispute that one of the functions of the county government is management of parking and taxes. So the governor cannot go ahead and create parallel structures to manage these functions which are provided for in the 4th schedule of the Constitution. This was a committee with a treasurer, with an organizing secretary, with a chairman, with a secretary. What were they created to do? We do submit that this allegation has been proved, and we invite the committee to review the evidence. The other issue was the issue of incitement and bullying. Incitement and bullying. We do submit that all the instances, the four instances, I'll go first of all, incitement, bullying, vilification of leaders. One was about Honorable Mwenda. That one, the member himself gave evidence here. The video which was produced here showed how the governor humiliated him in public. The governor was there parading him, asking him to apologize, telling him, I'm going to offer you protection. But now the narrative has changed, that it was the members of the public who were asking the member to apologize. Yet the governor herself has admitted she's the one who introduced that subject to the gathering. The other issue about vilification of the senator and the CS and the MP for Tigania, that is very clear in the transcripts. If you read those transcripts, it is on a meeting where the governor was present. And the issues was about this, allegedly, that these leaders were putting pressure on the governor to share power. But what does the governor say? She changes the narrative and argues that the half a bread, half a loaf she meant was that sharing half a loaf with MCAs. Yet the context was that these members want half a loaf of my government. We invite the committee to review that particular evidence. Chairman, I'll ask that, because I'm going through a lot of grounds which you covered, that you add me 5 more minutes in my time so that I can wind up. The other issue, you can see I'm rushing and I'm doing the work some justice.
Order.
The other issue.
Order. Everything that you are speaking to has already been articulated. It is up to you to ensure that you squeeze it into the limited time.
Yes, Chairman. The other issue was about vilification of a Catholic Church. When this matter began, the evidence was not clear. But from the evidence adduced by the governor and also the priest, the matter has been shed clear that there is a dispute between the Catholic Church and the county government of Meru, and a dispute which has now arisen after the governor came into place, where she's challenging the lease which the church is holding. And the governor is saying she's being put pressure to pay the money. What does she do? In a majestic style, whenever you confront the governor, she calls for baraza to fight you, what we call bully pulpit. She calls the meeting, takes down the church so that the church can relinquish their leasehold, which is still valid. We do submit that this evidence has again been submitted. Another issue which is close to my heart, because that is something which is very close also to this committee, about the inviolability of the precincts of the Assembly. This Senate has enacted the County Assembly Powers and Privileges Act. That act makes it very clear that you cannot force yourself into the County Assembly. It provides offenses which you commit when you force yourself into the County Assembly. The governor herself, in Annexure 16, the last clip which was played here, she has said that she was barred from entering the Assembly, but she forced herself into the County Assembly. The evidence also produced shows that the governor was accompanied by goons and militia. What was played by their side was different from what we played. You will see when she was coming, other than the clip which showed her entering the Assembly, there was another clip outside there where she had a group of people. And the posture the governor had taken, the demeanor, the temper she had, meant that the governor was coming for combat in the Assembly. And the honorable senators, we do request this Senate I want to direct the Senate to the County Assembly Powers and Privileges Act, more so Section 3, which protects the precincts of the Assembly. Not even the agents of the national government, not even the police, not even the NSIS can enter without the invitation of the Speaker. But the governor went there by force. Honorable senators, I wish to remind you that of the issue of the January 6th, 2021 in America, whereby the then president of America incited a group, a group of gathering of people. They went ahead and invaded the hallowed precincts of the U.S. Capitol. They took over, they commandeered the Senate, they commandeered the House of Representatives, and what has happened? The January 6th committee has found that the president needs to be prosecuted by the Department of Justice. Had the president been in the office today, he would have been impeached. It is impeachable. It is an offense under the laws of this country for you to hold gathering outside the gates of the Assembly. The law protects even the gates of the Assembly. The law provides even the gates of this Senate. You cannot come and hold a baraza outside the gates of this Senate. You will be violating the laws of the land. My last two issues is the issue about violation of the Public Finance Management Act. We do submit that this allegation has been proved. The governor has not contested that she made those utterances. What she has done, she has shifted the narrative. She has shifted the story that she was being requested. Yet when you review the evidence, you will see that in that particular meeting, the governor made 4 remarks. One, she said she wants to establish wellness center. The other one, she wants the CCs and chief officers who are going to be recruited to be doctors. Those are policy pronouncements she was making. Thirdly, she went ahead and gave waivers. Waivers under the provisions of the Public Finance Management Act is a preserve of the CC finance. The governor cannot give waivers. Meru has a legislation. Meru has a legislation called Meru County Tax Waivers Administration Act, which is very clear that it is only the CC Finance who can provide waivers. The other issue the governor did with that particular issue was directing the hospital to spend money at source. Chairman, I really want to correct the impression which has been created that the Meru Teaching Referral Hospital Act provides for the use of money at source. I'll recommend the committee to read Section 14(4) of the same act. It talks about that the funds under the section shall be managed in accordance with the PFM Act. That act recognizes that you have to refer back to the PFM Act. And the PFM Act provides elaborate mechanisms whereby you can use money from source. We do submit that this allegation has been proved. The last of allegation was offenses, misconduct relating to the CCs. What the governor did was, as the Assembly, in exercise of its constitutional mandate, rejected 7 nominees. Nothing wrong with that. Within the confines, within the powers of the County Assembly, to refuse, to reject nominees. But what does the law provide? The County Assembly, the Public Appointment County Assembly Approval Act, Section 10, provides that once the Assembly rejects the name the governor is supposed to resubmit, the governor shall resubmit fresh names. The act uses the word shall, which means if we reject 6, you don't go back and abandon the 6 and you work with the 3. No, you resubmit you resubmit the 7 who have been rejected. What the governor did was, she went in the guise of reorganization, collapsed the departments, and appointed 3 CC to be in charge of 6 departments. Our submission is that Section 46 of the County Government Act provides a mechanism in which the governor can reorganize our government. It's not the work of the governor, it is the county executive committee which can reorganize the government. So what the governor did, suo moto, what the chairman was mentioning in the cross-examination, treating the county as a public property, as a private property, instead of reverting the names back to the assembly, you go back and reorganize yourself, yet the law provides that the CC is still intact. The 7 CCs whose positions have not been filled are still serving. So for that reason, we submit that all our allegations of misconduct have been submitted. And for that reason, we ask this Senate to recommend, this committee, to recommend to the Senate that the Assembly has substantiated, has proved all the 64 allegations in view of Article 181 of the Constitution. The last point is a question has come about here. A question has arisen even when the governor was on the podium about this time is too short, it's too early, it's too early. My colleague had asked does the Constitution of Kenya provide temporary impunity? Within 100 days of being in office, you can break all the laws of the land. In UK, Liz Truss, who had been appointed popularly by the party, she was thrown out by her fellow MPs after 44 days in office. Irresponsible actions, maybe that is what they were saying, not my actions, compelled the same party, the members of the House of Commons, to push her out within 44 days. In our constitution, we don't have a time frame. You can be impeached even the following day. Okay. With those few remarks, honorable senators, I submit and I thank the committee for giving us the opportunity. And we also thank, on behalf of our team, maybe on behalf of my lead counsel, we thank on our side, because this is the last time we are taking the podium, we thank the chairman, the honorable senators for the time they have taken to working until 1 a.m. It's not a mean feat. The secretariat, and even for the other side, for the work we have done. And for that reason, we thank you very much and wish you all the best and Happy New Year.
Thank you. You have done 36 minutes. County Governors Council, you have 30 minutes.
Thank you, Chair, for the opportunity, and the members of the committee. I will have the 30 minutes shared between myself and my learned friend, Mr. Mwangi. Very recently, honorable members, I had the opportunity to appear before the Supreme Court together with my learned friend, Dr. Muthomi Thiankolu, representing a mutual client on a presidential election petition. And Dr. Muthomi Thiankolu described the petition seeking to overturn the election as shock and awe, because it was hot hair based on too much hullabaloo. I am sad today to use the same words against Dr. Muthomi, because we do find the notice of impeachment to be exactly that, shock and awe. In that we have...
Chair, you can't use the word against me. There is no case by me before the Senate. The case belongs to the County Assembly.
I stand guided.
Shock and? Precisely.
Shock and awe, A-W-E. Those were words used by Dr. Muthomi to describe that petition. I'm only using the same words, borrowing from my good friend, Dr. Muthomi. The reason why I'm saying that this matter is shock and awe is because a very negative and scary picture has been painted against the governor. We all sat here when the governor was being described as the modern day Hitler. And we would have expected that the evidence to be placed before this committee would have confirmed that same picture. Honorable members, you will confirm indeed that there was no evidence to that effect. So that left me wondering, why is the governor on trial? Is it because of our emotions? Is it because of our passion? Is it because of our temperament? Is it because of our mistakes? Is it because of our firmness? Is it because of our leadership style? Honorable members, none of this is a ground to impeach a governor. The governor might be emotional, might be passionate, might have a style of leadership that is not understood by many. But even then, and I'm not trying to justify that, is that the ground that was envisaged under Article 181 and Article 33 of the Constitution? Do we have any other ways of dealing with such a situation rather than impeaching a governor? And that's why, in our opening remarks, we were quick to state that we should differentiate between a political weapon and an oversight tool. The MCAs have oversight tools to check the governor, to check the executive, to bring it back on track when they stray. The MCAs have not come before you with clean hands. There is one maxim of equity that says, he who comes to equity must come with clean hands. Honorable members, when you sat here, can we agree that the MCAs are not at fault? Are they blameless? Have they come before this committee with clean hands? Have they themselves fueled the disagreement in Meru? Do they have their own share of blame to what is happening in Meru? Have they been seen fixing the governor, disrespecting her, putting her in a very awkward situation? Can we then allow these same MCAs to benefit from their own misconduct and have an entire election overturned over incidences where they have been party to? A case in point I will draw the attention of the committee to is when the MCAs intentionally block the governor from accessing the chamber in a day when they have themselves gazetted and invited the governor. The governor is ushered in by the speaker. The speaker allows the MCAs to conduct themselves in an unparliamentary manner. The speaker is not seen in any way trying to control the house. Then they come before the Senate and they want you to find that it was the governor who forcefully entered that county assembly. It would be unfair for us to sit here and assume that the county assembly of Meru comes before you with clean hands. Let's talk about impartiality, honorable members of this committee. Article 50 and 49 of our Constitution is supreme in as far as the right to fair hearing is concerned. The County Assembly of Meru, once it was seized of this motion, was supposed to be a quasi-judicial body that is supposed to uphold impartiality, that is supposed to uphold the right to fair hearing. Can we say really the conduct of that county assembly was conduct enough to suggest that they were in any way impartial? If, for example, today, honorable members, you went to court, and the first thing the judge does is dance how they are going to slaughter you, do you expect any fair hearing before that committee? We watched the MCAs donned in red very early in the morning before they even had the move of the motion. They sang inside the county assembly, chest stamping how they are going to teach the governor a lesson. Can we say that is an impartial committee, that the governor ought to have appeared before and expect justice and expect fairness? I beg to differ. So this confirms indeed that the County Assembly of Meru and the MCAs had a predetermined outcome of this motion, and they did not bother to even interrogate the issues before them. So what then is the threshold that ought to be upheld or met by any person seeking to impeach the governor? Because impeaching a governor is the last resort. Once the governor before you today is impeached, honorable members, it is not just about her removal from office. Going by the recent Supreme Court decision in the Mike Sonko case, the governor cannot even be in charge of any cattle dip committee because she will have been condemned forever. She lacks leadership skills. Are we telling this governor here today that based on the evidence brought before this committee, that this governor, forever and ever, at her age, and with only 2 months of being in office, that she has done so serious mistakes that she can never ever run for any leadership position? Because once you condemn her and uphold the impeachment, it will be the end of this governor to ever present herself for any of public office in this country. So the framers of the Constitution put a threshold under Article 181, and they used very strong and specific adjectives: gross violations, gross misconduct. So it is not just any violation that qualifies for impeachment, it must be gross. It is not any misconduct that can justify an impeachment, it must be gross. So the question that the committee ought to ask itself when you retire to prepare your report is that, has there been any gross misconduct, any gross violation? Gross is the highest standard of misconduct or violation. It must be very clear. You cannot be looking for this kind of misconduct. It must be very glaring and very conspicuous. I want to submit that there has been no demonstration of gross violation, gross misconduct. So even if the committee was to be tempted to find that there is misconduct or violation, does that become gross? Does the evidence before this committee support the grossness of that misconduct or violation? In criminal liability, lawyers speak about 2 ingredients that confirm criminal liability. One is what is called mens rea. Mens rea is a state of mind that the person accused of criminal liability must have the state of mind, must have intended to commit a particular crime. But then, criminal liability alone is not proved by a state of mind. The person who conceives the commission of a crime must go ahead and commit the crime. That is what is called actus reus. So those two combined then form an offense. So with only the state of mind, without the action itself, you cannot be held criminally liable. Most of the accusations against the governor are in respect of utterances that have not even been actioned. So even if the committee was to find that the governor has, or rather is guilty of these utterances, were any of those utterances ever actioned to justify criminal liability? I have not seen any action that has been taken by the governor that can justify that liability. Honorable members, if there were any appointments to any office, there would be an instrument of appointment. If there was any misappropriation of funds, there would be evidence of money lost. If there was any intention to benefit the first gentleman, there would be evidence to that effect. can we then find the governor guilty because of mens rea minus actus reus? The intention without the action. There is no action to accompany that intention, if indeed there was any intention in the first place. The Court of Appeal in the Martin Nyaga Wambora case, which was, I believe, the ever first impeachment motion to go through all the stages, the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeal had an opportunity to interrogate.
Counsel, you have 10 minutes.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. So the question that the Court of Appeal sought to give guidance on is what amounts to gross violation as envisaged under Article 181. And they said that the allegations must be serious, substantial, and weighty, so that not any allegation would qualify under Article 181. There must be a nexus between what the governor is alleged to have done and a particular violation of the Constitution or any written law. So then you would expect that of any of the 62 allegations, the County Assembly would pin and compare this action is in violation of this particular law. Have we seen that? We have not seen that. For example, you have been told that the governor has appointed the first gentleman to a public office. One, we must see the public office to which this first gentleman has been appointed to. That would be a violation. So we have not seen that nexus. Honorable members, because of time, allow me look at the issue of public participation. And this is an issue that I really want the committee and beseech you to really spend time on, scrutinizing all the memoranda that have been presented before you. If you carefully go through all those memoranda, you will inevitably find that they were done by one person or a group of persons, so that to the extent that you have similar spelling mistake and typographical errors in almost all those memoranda. If then there is that attempt, you can see the desperation to justify that the people of Meru really wanted the governor to be out of office. Burden of proof. It was incumbent upon the County Assembly of Meru to prove their case, to support gross misconduct, to support gross violation. It was not upon the governor to prove our innocence. And that's why your own rules provide for a situation even where the governor is given a right not even to appear before the committee. You would not then just pass a resolution to uphold without interrogating whether the County Assembly has met or discharged the burden of proof. So it is not enough for the County Assembly to accuse the governor of not having tendered evidence to prove our innocence. It works the other way around. It is for them to prove our guilt, because the governor is presumed innocent until proven guilt. I want to yield to my learned friend to address you on one or two issues before sitting down. But then before I do that, you have heard the governor herself plead with this committee that she has tried to make amends, that she had tried to reach out to other leaders, that maybe it was an issue of misunderstanding between her and the other leaders, that the issue at hand is ward fund. And the MCAs came here and denied that fact. But the evidence we brought confirmed that indeed that is the genesis of this problem. She promises that once there is a legal mechanism of dealing with that issue, then there will be no problem. Honorable members, I beseech you to give the people of Meru a chance to experience their choice. If then there is a mistake done, we should be able to judge her with concrete evidence, not based on emotions and utterances. Thank you very much, Honorable Chair and members.
Thank you. Council, you have 6 minutes.
Thank you, Chairman, Honorable Chairman. This committee is an investigative committee, and it has a responsibility and guidelines on how to achieve that responsibility. I would not refer this committee to the law. It is sufficiently informed with good experts in the law. But this is a motion under Article 181 and Section 133. This committee is supposed to determine whether the motion before the County Assembly has been substantiated, meaning the allegations availed at the County Assembly and debated, were they supported by cogent and probative evidence so as to be seen to have been proved beyond reasonable doubt. Those charges must meet a certain threshold, which Mr. Mutuma has alluded to, and I refer this committee to Civil Appeal number 21 of 2014. It's a Court of Appeal decision delivered sitting in Nyeri, and I'm not going to analyze that decision for the sake of time. But, my Lord, Honorable Chairman, in that decision, the court sets the threshold for determining gross violations of the Constitution and gross misconduct. Gross violations of the Constitution, according to that decision, and it analyzes many other decisions from the Commonwealth, it must be such a gross violation of the Constitution that it makes it impossible for the other constitutional organs in the county or in the country to be unable to function because those provisions of the Constitution have been violated. Honorable Chairman, there is no evidence that there has been a violation of a constitutional provision so that the judiciary in the county of Meru is not able to function, that the governor of the county of Meru has made it impossible for the county assembly to carry out its essential functions. And I ask this committee to look at the evidence that is availed. On the matter of evidence, the book of Proverbs, chapter 18, verse 17, says that the first person to speak appears truthful until the opponent stands to cross-examine. I do not want to analyze the entire evidence, but look at the Hansard and the cross-examination. The evidence that was availed in support of the charge, even on verification, for instance, by Mr. Mweda Inviri, he said he was being asked to apologize on the things he did not know. On cross-examination, and I asked him, you are saying to the governor, some things are true, others are not true. He admitted that there were actually things that had led to the two leaders getting to that position together with the public. Honorable Committee, when the issue of the church arose and the the father came to testify, he said he's not here on matters of the church or verification of the church. He was here on his own person, and he also gave a very particular line of testimony. And he said he has lived in America for over 10 years. He has been racially abused. And he said, potentially, that's why he is a more sensitive person. Honorable Chairman, that is a very important testimony coming from a witness. And this committee should look at that evidence from that prism of this is not an unusual person or a usual citizen for purposes of testifying on the issues that were before, that is a charge before this committee. On the issue of mismanagement of finances, again, the mover of the motion admitted that the county has not lost any money and the governor has not spent any money, contrary to any provision or framework of management of finances in the county. This was an admission by the mover of the motion themselves.
Joining us in a matter of minutes, the administration of oath for the Senator-elect Bungoma County, Senator Wafula David Wakoli, will take place, and the Senator-elect was elected by the voters in Bungoma County to replace the former Senator Moses Wetangula, who was elected as the Speaker of the National Assembly, it is a tradition that when such exercise happens, then the member must take the oath of office before joining his or her colleagues in transacting the business. So this afternoon, the senator-elect will be walked into the Senate chamber for that special occasion.
Having established that indeed we do have a quorum, Clerk, can you proceed by calling the first order, please?
Order number 1, administration of oath. Senator Wafula David Wakoli, Senator-elect, Bungoma County.
There on your screen is the senator-elect, flanked by the Nandi County Senator.
Very well. We'll proceed to take the oath.
English. I, Wafula David Wakoli, having been elected a member of the Senate, do swear in the name of the Almighty God that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the people and the Republic of Kenya, that I will obey, respect, uphold, preserve, protect, and defend this Constitution of the Republic of Kenya, and that I will faithfully and conscientiously discharge the duties of a member of Parliament. So help me God.
Members, you may now take a seat, please. Thank you. Honorable Senators who are standing, please take your seats. Honorable Senators, I would like to acknowledge the presence in the Speaker's Gallery the following members of Parliament. County Women Representative for Bungoma County, the Honorable Catherine Wabilianga, MP. The Member of Parliament for Webuye East Constituency, the Honorable Martin Pepela Wanyoni, MP. The Member of Parliament for Kanduyi Constituency, the Honorable John Makali, MP. The Honorable Mpuri Aburi, Igembe East Constituency Member of Parliament. Igembe East. Tigania East Constituency. Honorable Senators, on behalf of the Senate and on my own behalf, I welcome the said dignitaries to the Senate and wish them well for the remainder of the visit. I thank you. Honorable members, I will allow few comments in terms of congratulatory messages to the newly sworn-in Senator for Bungoma. Manzo Daniel Gitonga.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, first I want to wish members and our guests Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Season's greetings. Mr. Speaker, today is a very important occasion, and also welcome the newly sworn member. I would like to mention that the former member, who is now the Speaker of National Assembly, the Honorable Wetangula, was a very strong member of this chamber and did very well, and has been a politician of many years and of good standing, and also a very senior lawyer in the country. So I believe the new senator will be able to fit in those shoes of the Honorable Wetangula, Senator, now Speaker of the National Assembly, and that will be able to, you know, to assist us in sorting out all matters like the one pending today and represent the people of Bungoma well. I want to wish all Kenyans again Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honorable Chirange.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to all of us, including our guests. Mr. Speaker, first and foremost, it was an honor today to escort our newly elected senator, brand new, zero mileage from Bungoma, Senator Wafula David of Ford, Kenya. Mr. Speaker, I don't know why the entrance of Senator Karen Nyamu is drawing excitement, especially from the male members. Maybe that's a story for another day. Mr. Speaker, allow me to congratulate my brother and welcome him, Senator Wafula, to the Senate. Mr. Speaker, the immediate former Senator of Bungoma and the current National Assembly Speaker was a dedicated member of this House. He used to sit just behind my brother, Senator Wambua. He was the senior most in this House, Mr. Speaker, but he ensured he attended all the committees as a member religiously, contributed, of course, with colorful English whenever he appeared before any motion or debate or any comment on the House, Mr. Speaker. So I want to welcome my brother, Mr. Speaker, and I'm happy that the great people of Bungoma have always and ensured that Kenya Kwanza family is growing by leaps and bounds. We are happy. I know the minority side had a appetite that this addition would have been on their side, but unfortunately, these young gentlemen were able to flow seasoned politicians, including the former Bumula Member of Parliament and also the chair of, I don't know the name of that party, I think it's a village party, Wafula Munyinyi, somebody like that. And we thank that the Kenyans are now realizing the importance, Mr. Speaker, of youth in leadership. So I want to thank all the senators, Mr. Speaker, and believe that they can be able to be welcome, Mr. Speaker, to this House, the assistance of all of us, Mr. Speaker, so that we can move ahead. Finally, Mr. Speaker, I want to ask my brother, the new senator, that I hope you will learn very fast. The people of Bungoma have high hopes on you. We will support you where we can, both as a minority and majority side, Mr. Speaker, to ensure any agenda and the interest of the great people of Bungoma, Mr. Speaker, is given priority in the Senate, Mr. Speaker. So we want to wish you all the best, Mr. Speaker, and I know, Mr. Speaker, your secretariat and your office have always been of great help to all of us as members. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, we are also looking forward with your able secretariat led by our good clerk, Nyekenya, to ensure the new member, Mr. Speaker, is given necessary support and capacity. Mr. Speaker, and I can notice that there are some of the members who are elected in August, even as you take Senator Wafula for orientation, there are quite a number of members that need still to go for orientation, Mr. Speaker. So don't let him go alone. Include a number of them. I'll give you in camera their names so that they can be effective and efficient in terms of their discharge, Mr. Speaker. With all those remaining remarks, congratulations, Happy New Year, and Merry Christmas. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
The Honorable Senator Mazayo.
Asante Bwana Spika. Bwana Spika, kitu cha kwanza nataka kutoa kongole kwa ndugu yetu David Wakoli Wafula kwa kuwa na ushindi wa hali ya juu kuingia kama anayewakilisha kaunti ya Bungoma kama senator. Bwana Spika, tuliona kile kindumbwe kilikuwa huko, na pia mimi nataka ni waunge mkono, walipata ushindi na ni jambo zuri ambalo wamemleta hapa, na kwamba yeye anaweza kuitengeneza kuifanya ile kazi ya useneta. Bwana Spika, tukielewa kwamba aliyekuwa seneta wa Bungoma hivi sasa ndio spika wa bunge la kitaifa. Bwana Spika, Seneta Wetangula alikuwa kiongozi walio wachache na alijithibitisha kama mwakilishi wa Bungoma vilivyo, na vile vile alikuwa kama taa katika hii Senate. Kwa hiyo Bwana Spika, ni jambo zuri kwa sababu David amekuja sasa na tuna hakika anaingia katika viatu ambavyo ni vikubwa. Watu wa Bungoma watategemea kwamba atafanya kazi kama alivyofanya Moses Wetangula. Kwa hiyo ni jambo la furaha kwamba ameingia katika viatu hivyo na tunamtakia kila laheri. Cha muhimu ya yeye kuelewa ndugu yetu David ni kwamba katika bunge la Senate tunajaribu tunavyoweza kuona kwamba mijadala yetu tunayoifanya hailemei pande ile wala pande ile. Tunaweza kuifanya mijadala inakuwa ya kitaifa, ya kwamba lote tunalofanya hapa linasaidia serikali zetu za mashinani. Ndio cha muhimu. Kwa hiyo mimi nataka tu kutoa kama usia kwake ya kwamba akiwa hapa awe mkakamavu kama atakavyoona wenzake, na hata ikiwa kama vile alivyosema ndugu yangu mdogo Cherargea kwamba akienda kwa induction ni sawasawa, pia wengine ambao wanajisikia wanataka kwenda kwa induction waende naye, watafundishana wakiwa huko, na baadaye hatimaye wakirudi watakuwa mabingwa ndani ya hii Senate yetu. Kwa hiyo mimi namtakia kila laheri ndugu yetu David katika kazi aliyoanza hivi leo, na watu wa Bungoma na hakika hawakufanya makosa kumchagua yeye. Ndugu yangu, watu wako na imani na wewe, kwa hiyo kaa mkakamavu, na kama kuna lolote unaweza kuja kuuliza upande huu, manake huku pia ndio kuna maprofesa, pande hii hakuna maprofesa. Asante Bwana Speaker.
The Honorable Senator Tabitha Mutinda.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to take this opportunity to congratulate Senator Wafula. It's a good space in Senate. From the leadership of the clerk, it's been wonderful, and we believe the same will still be offered from the same leadership. As new members, We've walked a good journey. And as you take the leadership of Bungoma, Senator Wetangula has been on the lead, and we urge that you continue with the same spirit. As a woman matters women, I urge you, I request you, my brother, that you keep the same spirit of the women of Bungoma, the youths of Bungoma. We are less in the house as women, and we always advocate matters women. So we urge that you keep the same spirit. Also take care of the youths in Bungoma. We look forward to support systems, and we are also happy as Kenya Kwanza to soldier on and maintain our seat. So we believe that you're going to deliver, and the support will always be there. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Senator Enoch Wambu.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity to also add my voice in congratulating the Bungoma Senator, David Wakoli Wafula. Mr. Speaker, allow me to also take this opportunity to welcome our colleagues from the National Assembly who have come to escort their senator. I do hope, Mr. Speaker, that this show of solidarity among elected leaders from Bungoma will continue beyond today. Because if it does, then this is a good thing for the great county of Bungoma. As has been said, we used to sit with the Senator Moses Masika Wetangula, now Speaker of the National Assembly. And he was a star senator, really. He did very well. Senator David, you have your work cut out for you. Human beings have a tendency to compare performance among their leaders. The challenge for you now is to ensure that the people of Bungoma begin to compare your performance with that of Senator Wetangula. They will be comparing apples with apples. And the beauty of it is that there will be opportunity for you and for all of us to learn. Learning is a continuous life process. And I like what Senator Cherargei has said, that you will be accorded an opportunity to be inducted and be trained in the workings of the Senate. And he mentioned that if there are some leaders who also want to join in that mentoring and that induction, that training, then they can tag along. As Speaker, the only thing that Senator Cherargei was shy of saying, and I'll say it on his behalf, is that we all need to be inducted, we all need to be trained, but I think he needs it a lot more than many of us. So, as Speaker, if there will be only one more chance for a senator to accompany Senator Wakoli, I plead that that chance be given to Senator Cherargei. As Speaker, those remarks, I welcome the new Senate. I thank you.
Senator Mungatana.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I also want to take this opportunity, Mr. Speaker, to add my voice, first of all, to congratulate the Honorable Senator from Bungoma for making it into the House amidst stiff challenge from other worthy competitors. Mr. Speaker, a heavy burden rests on the shoulders of the Honorable Senator David Wakoli. Why I say so, Bungoma County, Mr. Speaker, has been a barometer of the politics of Western Kenya. So whatever utterances that he's going to make, whatever political moves that is going to make all of us and the people of Tana River and other places will be watching, because we will be interested in hearing and seeing the moves he's making. Mr. Speaker, we want to welcome him and tell him that in this house we are all friends. We push for one singular issue, that devolution be respected, our counties get a fair share, and that devolution be made to work. Mr. Speaker, I also want to encourage him that now that Bungoma has produced a speaker, it is upon him now to aim higher. So maybe in future he should be thinking about running for president, not just sitting around. With those few remarks, Mr. Speaker, I welcome Mr. Senator now, Mheshimiwa David Wakoli Wafula. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Maitho.
Thank you. And I also stand to congratulate my brother, the Senator David Wakoli. I had an opportunity to go to Bungoma, of course, because we had our own candidate. And on behalf of our candidate, I concede that we lost. But then that was a derby. That was a friendly between our party and Ford Kenya. It was a well-deserved win. I congratulate him. Many people have mentioned that he is filling in big boots of the Speaker of the National Assembly, the Honorable Wetangula. But I am confident that David will actually fit the bill. Having worked with Senator Wetangula, having been the engine that was running the person of Senator Wetangula, I am confident that he will be able to discharge his mandate. I'm also particularly happy that he's also coming in. The other time I spoke here, I was making reference to the young people who have been who were appointed into the select committee that was looking into the matter of Governor Kawira. I'm also happy that he's also coming in as a young person. I'm happy that the people of Kenya are appreciating youth leadership. I will also be part of those who will be inducting him, having been here for the last 3 months. I know the good guys and the bad guys. I know the people who can be able to induct him properly, and I'll be able to guide him properly as his agent. Finally, Mr. Speaker, I have also made an observation, Mr. Speaker, and I think it is important that I put it.
What is your point of order, Senator Mazzaya?
Thank you, Bwana Speaker. Bwana Speaker, sijui kama umesikia ama umesikiza alipokuwa akiongea Senator ndugu yangu hapa akisema kwamba kuna guys hapa nashindwa hao guys ni kina nani, manake hapa naona kuna distinguished senators ndio wako katika hii nyumba. Bwana Speaker, utumiaji wa lugha ni kitu muhimu, otherwise ama sivyo tutapeleka message ambayo haiko kisawa sawa. Bwana Speaker.
Indeed, Senator Metho, that language is unparliamentary. Kindly retract and proceed to conclude your comments.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I actually withdrew that particular comment. I never meant to disparage the senators who are here. I have a lot of respect for them. But the point that I was making as I was winding up, Mr. Speaker, is that this is a season, Mr. Speaker, of assistants going all the way up. Honorable David has been an assistant to Senator Wetangula and is a senator here.
Myself, you know, I've been an assistant to the Speaker of Nyandarua County Assembly, and I am here. The assistant of Senator Cherargei, Engineer Joseph Mengich, is a member of Parliament for Mgwen. The assistant of former Leader of Majority Kipchumba Murkomen, Adams Kipsianai, is a member of Parliament for Keyo North. So, Mr. Speaker, as I wind up, then it is also a burden on to us.
Just a minute, Senator Medu. What is your point of order, Senator Kinyu?
Bwana Spika, kwangu si kwa kiongozi Medhu, ni vile ambavyo nimeona nyumba hii. Dakika kama 2 kulikuwa hakuna spika katika hicho kiti, Bwana Spika. Nimestuka sana, niliona wakati Medhu anaongea, alikuwa aongei katika Senate ya Jamhuri ya Kenya kwa sababu hicho kiti hakikuwa na spika. Ilikuwa kiko wazi, hakukuwa na spika yote.
Bwana Senator Kenywa, samahani. Dakika 2 ni muda ya sekunde ngapi?
Hata kama ni sekunde 1, Bwana Spika, hakupaswi hili jumba liwe hakuna spika katika hicho kiti, hata kama ni sekunde 1, Bwana Spika.
Senator Medu, proceed.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. You know, there is a challenge of the time zones in Laikipia. It's a challenge that you can understand, the Senator for Laikipia. But the point that I was making, and I also, Mr. Speaker, had an opportunity of being here when, Mr. Speaker, your own personal, I think personal assistant or a person who worked in your office was testifying in the matter that we shall discuss later, and he's a chief of staff and he did very well. So it is upon us, Mr. Speaker, to also help the people that are working in our offices so they can become very good leaders and that they can take after us. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Senator of Ososi Godfrey.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to start by congratulating Mr. Wakoli, Honorable Senator Wakoli, for the deserved victory to become the Senator of Bungoma County. I want to say that I participated in the campaigns in Bungoma, and I know how hectic it was and competitive. So for Honorable Wakoli to have won, it is not a small achievement. It's really a big achievement, and I also want to thank the people of Bungoma County for conducting very peacefully election that has produced a senator. My advice to Senator Wakoli is that, as my colleagues have put it, he is coming in to fill big shoes left behind by the Speaker of the National Assembly and the former Senator of Bungoma, Honorable Wetangula. And in addition to that, Mr. Speaker, you are all aware that the work of a senator is to provide oversight in the counties. And Honorable Wakoli is coming in to provide oversight on a governor who has been a governor, has been a speaker of this house, and again back as a governor. So that means he has to work extra hard to oversight Governor Lusaka. And Mr. Speaker, as you know the history of Bungoma County has been known to be, and particularly the community, predominant community in Bungoma, which is Bukusus, been known to have produced some of the best leaders in this country. You know Michael Kijana Wamalwa, people like George Captain, Mukisa Kitui, Masinde Muliro, people like even Wetangula. So being a senator